And obviously, I'm having a chat with you because you're going to be here in a couple of months in Australia. Looking forward
That's
to
right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Stoked, man. Really stoked. Like I've been telling a couple of other people, like just love being in Australia. I know, and like obviously it takes a long while to get there and a long flight, but it's always worth it, you know. So we're loving playing to Australian people and love being out there, spending time there. So yeah, we're stoked to be back.
Nice, nice, nice. Look, I'm gonna get my fanboy out real quick. Okay. Um,
You know where it is.
I have to do it because if I don't do it, all my mates will have a go at me. So I met
Okay.
Sean and Matt last year because I stayed in the same hotel as you in Brisbane
Okay.
when you were there for Good Things Festival. And it was
Right.
actually Sean who picked up on my tattoo that I've got on my neck. I've actually got
Oh man,
your
that's
logo
wicked.
tattooed. Yeah.
Love
And
it. Love it, mate.
Sean saw it on the first night. And then the next day,
Yeah.
like the next morning when I came back from breakfast across the road, Matt was there and he goes, fucking dude, Sean told me about this. That's fucking sick.
Yeah,
So I
man.
just want to get my fun.
Respect.
If I didn't do it, no, all my mates would have a go at me. So I've got to do it. All right. Let's crack on to the interview. Random question to start off with, just to fucking ease you in. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Who is the biggest Doncaster Rovers football icon, you or Lewis Tomlinson?
yeah. Me.
Of course it is. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I reckon I could easily beat Louis Tomlinson in a match, game of football, whatever, five-a-side, whatever it is. Um, yeah, played a lot of football over the years. I don't really know much about Louis Tomlinson or his football career, but I'm gonna have to back myself and say me for sure.
Yes. That's what we want to hear. The confidence of a lead singer. Brilliant. All right. All right. So the going through I've got a lot of questions, so we'll zoom through them fairly quickly. Um
Yeah, Sam.
the last album, Self Hell, we'll go straight in at the top there.
Yeah,
Obviously, cracking album. My understanding is, like I read the Kerrang interview that you did. My understanding is that that was one of the first albums you wrote musically on for Radical Love,
yeah,
Radical Hatred.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
how did that come about?
Well, I'm not like it's quite criminal, really. But I actually don't play any instruments. I can't write music into a computer. I can't really play. Well, there's no really about it. I can't play guitar either. So all my sort of writing's always been sort of darker, nihilistic poetry, if you like. Just if I look back through my notes that I've written down over the years, it's like looking through a psychopath's diary. Do you know what I mean? One minute it's like I hate everything, and I want to curl up and die, and then the next is like, nah, be grateful for what you have in life, and look to the positives. So that's how I kind of write my music. Radical Hatred, Radical Love is one of the first times I've actually picked up an acoustic guitar, played some notes, and sort of sang along with it. So it is a bit of a special one for me, that being sort of my introduction into actually writing, and putting the lyrics to it. So yeah, it was a fun one to do, and yeah, so I think it'll always be special for that reason, being like I actually had a hand in writing the chords and things like that. So it's definitely something I need to work on, is my guitar playing.
Well, you popped your musical cherry. That's fine. All good. so, so taking that into account, I mean, because that like one of the things your band's always done from the beginning, like from the North Stands for Nothing, which by the way, again changed my life. I got that on the copy of Metal Hammer when it
Yeah,
came out,
yeah,
and
yeah. I
and when I
remember
got
putting that
changed,
out. Yeah,
yeah, and like, I was going through a real dark time in my life, and that
right.
fucking I got the free CD because it was free. I got the free CD, fucking trashed it hard. Um, and actually, when I speak to Matt last year at the hotel, he said to me that changed your band's fucking trajectory as well, like pretty hard. I mean, what's your
Yeah,
recollections of that time of going from no one's heard of you to wow, we're on the front cover of Metal Hammer?
yeah. So the story is actually crazy. I mean, for anyone that goes back all the way to the North Stands for Nothing, when the rest of While She Sleeps were basically really, really young kids, almost, but probably like 16, 17 years old. Um, there was another singer in the band, and he sort of wasn't too interested in continuing the journey with the band. He had other ideas. He wanted to actually get a steady job and things like that. And so, long story short, the lads asked me if I wanted to join, and there was zero hesitation from me. We'd already sort of bumped into each other on a local scene, and we sort of hung out on occasions. And so I always thought that the band were going to do good things. The way that Sean was like such a youngster, but like literally sweeping on guitar and playing crazy lead lines, and there was just a buzz about the band really early on. And so when they asked me to join, it was literally a no brainer for me. And then so we started sort of getting together and writing the first CD that we put out, being The North Stands for Nothing. And literally instantly, Daniel P. Carter from Radio 1 sort of came down to a show. We bumped it. We'd actually gone to see a different band. We were that excited to be out on our first ever tour that we turned up to the venue a night early, and we were in the venue checking out another band, and just bumped into him and got talking. And he said, when you've got your songs sort of more, out of the demo stages and more of a real song, send it over and I'll give it a listen. And literally instantly he was just like, I'm going to play this tonight. And it had literally been a day after we'd sort of tried to mix it and master it ourselves, and we were like, oh my god, it's going to sound crap on the radio, whatever, early stages. So it was really exciting from the get-go, really. And like I said, I always had faith that While She Sleeps, they were a great band anyway as youngsters. So when I joined, we all had the same sort of ideas and passion for where it could go in the future. And I think sometimes that can be quite difficult to find in a group of lads, making sure everyone's on the same page with the same commitment. And yeah, just straight out the gate, Daniel P. Carter played it on the Rock Show, and literally from the first single that we recorded off that, it was sort of going. So we've kind of never really looked back. We're lucky in that sense that people like Daniel P. Carter have sort of enabled us to get the music out there from an early point and supported us in that way. And yeah, great introduction into our journey with Sleeps, and yeah, the rest is history almost.
And that's one of the things that I've always picked up from you guys is that taking the radio, like the Radio 1 element out of it, is you do your own thing. You've been very independent the whole way through. Like, you release your own records, you do your own videos. Aaron certainly works a lot on the videos as well.
Yeah.
What are the sort of the positives that you get from that, where you're actually kind of happy that you're not on a major label or anything of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, we've always been a very hands-on band. We've always, we're from Yorkshire in the UK. There's loads of fucking old mining industry around here, and it's very, very much a case of, if you want something, do it yourself, get your hands dirty, and that's how we've always worked. So, and we moved into a space now, like you say, where we're not on a major label. We release all our own music. We're self-managed, and that's not necessarily for everyone. I don't want to sort of sit here and slag off, management and the industry, but we just found like we had 10 different people working on our band when we were signed to sort of Sony and things like that. And it was always a case of like, why does this need to go through 10 different people that are often fucking it up, if you like, when we know we can get the job done ourselves? And I think literally purely because we are a very DIY ethic band, and we just felt like that was the best way to go for us. I feel like the best, for people to get the best impression, if you like, or for people to experience how we want things to be experienced, is best off from it coming straight from the band to our fan base and cutting out the middleman. And I think that's why we just, we don't really outsource too many things. We do all our own artwork. Like you say, Aaron's now doing so much video. We've always been very hands-on with how our band's perceived, if you like. So for us, it made perfect sense to move to an independent way of doing things and stick it to the man, I guess. Like, if, like I say, the best way for your band to be perceived is from your artworks, your videos, and your music coming straight from us to the fan base. So yeah, we found that that's the best way for us.
And so, you're talking now about the fans and being able to be creative. Let's just turn this a little from like basically being a fanboy element. from the North Stands to Nothing to This Is the Six to Brainwashed, You Are We, So What, Sleep Society, Self Help. During the
Yeah.
course of that transition of the 6 albums, the band has obviously evolved and changed and brought things in.
Yeah.
And you've always done things slightly differently. So I remember there's an acoustic version of a Crows song, Jenny Staniforth's on Seven Hills on This Is the Six.
Yeah.
You did the thing on You Are We when you're in the church, as an example, but they've always been extras. On Self Hell, the second half of that album starts to become a lot more experimental. I can't even say it. Experimental.
Yeah.
Was that a well, considering the journey you've been on, is that a precursor to the future?
I think so. I think that one of the most exciting things to come out of the Self Hell as a record is sort of where does that take us in the future? You know, we kind of push the electronics a bit more. We've got a couple of more softer ballads in there. The guest spots are something a little bit different. Maybe artists that you don't really know. And I think it all helps the evolution of our band. I think like I fell in love with early 2000s metalcore. That's what really turned my head into being like, I want to do this. Bands like All That Remains and Killswitch Engage. You know, I was literally having a conversation yesterday about what do you think is the best or most influential record from that era? And you can go around in circles about that. I'd potentially say the Fall of Ideals and the Heartache, exactly, like the riffage on there and the catchy hooks they're just crazy. And yeah, I was literally debating this yesterday, but I think that that world nowadays is very, very oversaturated with people who know how to write good metalcore. It's like the genre now is so vast. There's so many different bands doing different sounds. So with us, we still obviously absolutely adore those bands, and there's been so many good bands come out of metalcore. But for us, it's about keeping things fresh. If you look back at our discography, you might say, This Is the Six is a bit more of a metalcore record, and then Brainwashed it's almost like punk metal in a sense. It's a bit more anarchy, and every album we've tried to do something a little bit different. We don't just want to sit in that box and know how to write a good metalcore record, and that's what we do. We want to keep things interesting, keep our fan base on its toes, and like I say, with Self Hell, there's not that it's a complete sort of left turn or anything like that, but it's all helping the progression of where we go next with the next record, and trying to just spice things up and keep it interesting. We knew that Self Hell would ruffle a few feathers and get people questioning, where is this band going to go? And I think it's just all about testing ourselves, pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit, and doing things that keep it fresh and feel exciting in the studio. So, and with the whole sort of oversaturation of sort of the genre, if you like, it's, we didn't want to put out a record that sounded like anyone else, or that anyone else is doing at the moment. I think even at times there's a bit of like a Britpop element to the record, where you can hear that like 90s sort of influence, a bit like Gorillaz or whatever. And yeah, it's just exciting. It's exciting visiting sounds and songs that we used to listen to, but never sort of thought that we could, manipulate into being our own thing, or just take small inspirations from that. So it's been a great, probably one of my favorite recording processes, in terms of like, we go into the studio, we just don't know what sounds are going to happen that day, and sort of putting the songs together was very exciting. And I think we're in a really good place now, where the band has matured and progressed to a point where it is exciting. We work well in the studio now, and that's, it's not necessarily an easy thing to achieve when you've been a band for so long and you got together when you were young kids. It's all about sort of navigating that landscape and just seeing where you can end up. So yeah, exciting times. And I think now that people have had a chance to digest the record and they hear some of the songs off the new album with some of the older stuff, I think it kind of makes sense. It's kind of gone. It's a progression, but it still sounds like While She Sleeps.
Definitely. And it's, for me, you can hear the I don't like the hereditary element that comes from it. You can actually hear that all the way back in You Are We. You can hear that even before that as well. Like there's nothing that was too shocking. But again, you know what music fans are like. It's like, oh no, you're sold out, or you've done this. It's like, oh, Look, I don't think I've got much longer, so I'm going to ask a really random question.
Okay.
Um, this is actually a bit of an arsehole question, actually. The question I'm going to ask is, uh, who's the worst dressed in the band, and why is it Sean?
You know, I don't know. I don't want to say anyone's badly dressed. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. I think for so long though, we were sort of in that metalcore sort of space, and you know, cut off. I mean, I'm wearing one now, but like cut off tank fucking tops and skinny black jeans, and it's strange because I think because we found ourselves as a metalcore band, it felt like that's what we needed to do, and now it's more like we don't need to do. We can do exactly what we want. I think like with like Self Hell, the first release off the record, the self-titled, it's that song, the video is actually showing people perhaps a different side to the band that we haven't really showcased much, and I think it's more representative of the fun we're having now as a live band. You know, we're not like tough guys singing metal. It's just we just want everyone to have a good time, entertain everyone, and feel unified in the show sort of space, wherever that is, whether it's a festival or indoor at a venue. So yeah, just having fun with it, and yeah, Sean's definitely the worst dressed. Yeah.
All right. Look, well, thank you very much for your time. I will see you guys in Adelaide on the 4th of October, which is 3 days before my birthday. So this guy can't fucking wait to see you guys. We'll catch up. We've already actually met once before at that same venue years ago. We'll have a beer.
Awesome.
Best of luck on the rest of your tour, and I'll see you guys in a few months. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, mate. Appreciate it, and appreciate the support as well. It doesn't go, you know, we're very grateful.
Absolute pleasure.
Love it.
Thanks, Loz.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, Lily.
Have a good day.